Hello everyone. As you know, this assignment deals with informative speech, and I've decided to talk about sustainable architecture. What is architecture? Designing, detailing, and constructing buildings or physical forms is architecture. Sustainable architecture is that style of architecture which deals with methods, features, and techniques which help in minimizing the negative impact of buildings on environment. Now, why do we need sustainable architecture? We need sustainable architecture to sustain our future. Researchers say that in the present times, 50% of the total world population resides in urban areas. And this 50% uses almost 60% of the usable energy. Okay? I mean, it's used by buildings, different kind of buildings, public buildings, government buildings, and schools. Okay? Now, this 50% population is going to go up to 70% by 2050. We all know that we are having issues in, dealing with how to make the available renewable resources to be used by everyone. We are having issues with this particular topic, and imagine when the population rises in future, how are we going to deal with it? Because anyways, villages don't have this issue of sustainable architecture, and they don't have to work too much on the renewable resources, because anyways the materials they use are more close to nature. They are more sustainable. And so the problem confines in the urban areas. Okay. Now, what are the negative impacts of building? Do you know that a 2 new-bedroom cottage produces an equivalent of 80 tons carbon equivalent emissions? Just imagine what are these tall buildings and skyscrapers doing to the environment. Now, this is where sustainable architecture comes in picture to help reduce all these negative effects. Now a building in particular produces major 3 negative impacts, which are pollution, all the direct and indirect means of pollution created by a building, like transportation of raw materials causes pollution with the means of transportation, and it destroys the natural habitat of animals and birds. When you are clearing up the sites, it's then when it happens. And third is the energy usage, because when you are creating a building and when it's already ready, a lot of energy is being used during the entire process. Even when one building is ready, we use a lot of energy inside it, by the means of water, electricity, and gas. So these are the 3 major drawbacks of buildings on natural environment. Now, what are the criteria that govern sustainable architecture? So then again, there are 3 criteria which govern the aspect of sustainable architecture. First is location. The location of a site means when you are looking for a site, try to stick to a more ready to use site. I mean, you don't have to create artificial blasting there to make hilly areas plain, or you don't have to clear the jungle bed, so that you are avoiding to, destroy the natural habitat of birds and animals. So first is the location. Second is the local materials, local raw materials. So if you are sticking to the natural raw materials available in your own area, you're cutting down on the negative impact caused by means of transportation. So that is one way of helping. Third is the energy efficiency of the building. So when it comes to this, you can stick to energy saving bulbs, different kinds of energy saving gadgets. You can stick to more natural ways of roof lighting and natural ventilation and natural lighting, rather than sticking to the artificial lighting. You can choose rainwater harvesting facilities in your building. You can use more of solar and thermal energies in your building. Now next is, what are the positive features of sustainable architecture? So now when you switch to sustainable architecture, you are choosing to stay close to nature. Okay, so maybe like, you can implement more, you see, normally if we are sticking to this modern techniques, we use air cons a lot. For winters we have all these solar heaters, but then if you stick to natural materials, like if like mud houses or clay houses, they are much cooler than these modern houses. So maybe you can stick to that. You can stick to thatched roofs rather than those steel and alcopla roofs, where you have to incorporate a lot of central air conditioning system to keep the buildings cool and durable for people to be used. So that could be another way. You're staying close to nature. Next is you are spending less, in the sense you are saving on transportation, and these these natural materials, they don't need so much of maintenance as much as the artificial materials need. And then of course, it's a more healthy environment in the sense, because a lot of like this is just an example, a lot of people have problems with the air con. So if you're switching to sustainable architecture, your buildings are already cooler compared to the unnatural ones, and thus you are creating a healthier environment. Now there is a big myth surrounding sustainable architecture. Designers believe that if you are switching to sustainable architecture, you are compromising design. You have to choose simple designs or something. So no, and this is a total myth, and it's been proved by architect Jean Gang, who designed an aqua skyscraper in the city of Chicago. This building has wave-like features on its exterior, and these waves are actually extended balconies, and it looks magnificent and very unique, of course. And she's incorporated rainwater harvesting, solar panel, thermal panels in the building, and she has created a very beautiful form of sustainable architecture, and thus it breaks the myth. So I would like to show you a picture of the same, of this unusual building, which is it's classy, and it really is a huge example of how sustainable architecture can exist. So this is the building, and maybe you can just browse a bit later. This is a wonderful building. You can see the wave-like features in it. Okay, so, and I would like to add something here, that I believe that more than anything, any design or any features, if you want to switch to sustainable architecture, if you want to bring this revolution in the world, for a better world in future, we need to change. Okay, we need to play our part. Now how can we play our part? So there are a lot of simple ways, as I mentioned, you can look into the concerns of sustainable architecture and switch to more natural substances and elements. And besides this, we all can take a simple step and play our part. Just like an ocean can't be made by one drop. A lot of drops collect together to form ocean. Similarly, if all of us take small steps, we can change the world for a better place. When you're discarding the trash, try to be more reasonable, try to be generous, try to separate the recyclable and non-recyclable materials, and play your part. And this is how you can start with. And I really believe that what Fumi Masuda said, he said, we don't have to sustain society as it is, but we need to change the society for sustainability. So I believe in it, and I believe that you all will play your part and bring a revolution. I would like to stop here with this quote of Aldous Huxley. He said, ending is better than mending. I just fear if Mother Earth hears this and she moves towards the end, what is going to happen to all of us? So this is why I request you to please switch to more natural ways, switch to our sustainable architecture. This speech was not big enough to cover all the aspects, but of course you can just do a bit of research, do a bit of browsing, and I hope you will switch to the natural ways to make this world a better place for you, for me, and for all the generations to come. Thanks a lot for hearing me out.